Hey guys, it's Georgia. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, I took inspiration from another YouTuber that I personally watch. Her name's Mariah Elizabeth. She does a lot of videos where she repaints squishies, which are like those little stress ball things that were a lot softer than stress balls. They're really popular like a few years back. I remember seeing them everywhere, but I never got any. So I bought a couple of them and I decided I was going to personalize them the same way that she does. So I end up doing 4. I only put 3 in the video because I didn't really like the last one and I was running out of time, but I hope you guys like it. So to start this video, I had to choose which squishies I was going to do. As you can see, I have quite a few different options. I was just seeing which ones felt like real squishies, but I also didn't want to choose any of my favorite just because it was my first time doing it. So if I messed up really bad, didn't want to be disappointed. So I ended up going through a bunch of them, didn't want to do anything too big, and I ended up choosing these 4. I don't end up showing the cupcake one in the video because I didn't really like it, but here are the first 3 that I did. So first thing to do, using the Coca-Cola can first, is just sand all of them down so that I had a nice rough surface to paint on, so that all the colors that I used would adhere and work. Just using random sandpaper that I found in my basement and just going really hard on all of them to get nice little grooves. Now that they're all sanded and textured, I'm just going to start with a nice base coat of white. For this part, I'm doing half of like matte fabric paint, which is really mobile, and half of the puffy paint, which is like the dimensional stuff. Just trying to mix that together. I just used both of these because the puffy paint will get into any severe cracks and like even it out almost, and then the nice white matte will just give it a pretty decent clear coat. I think I ended up doing only like 2 or 3 coats for the white just because I didn't want to waste too much time. I did end up using pure puffy paint on the bottom of this can one because it got a little bit ripped off, and that was just a nice way to make it flat. And now that they are all coated, white, squishy, and flat, it is time to finally start using nice colors. So I'm going to start with this little cloud squishy. I actually ended up giving this one to my manager, but I knew I wanted to do a rainbow theme, so I'm just getting the colors of the rainbow, making them nice, a little bit more pastel. Didn't want to use super light versions of the colors, but I didn't like how deep they were. So I just made them my own. I shook them, or I stirred them with that, and then I end up just shaking it to get the colors all nice and deep and like fully covered in a way. And I'm just going to start doing lines on them. I started in the middle so that I could sort of divide it into 2 and then divide each section into 3 so that all the colors had at least the same width, even though clearly the pink and purple are going to have a lot less space than the like green and yellow because those are in the middle at the highest points. But I ended up doing 2 coats of these. The first one was kind of messy. As you can see, it's just kind of messy just to get the colors there, and you can still see a lot of the cracks. So I just went over it with coat 2. Coat 2 I did a lot thicker, and I did much straighter lines in between the colors. I was going to try and like sort of make them blend so that it was like a nice continuous color, but I realized that this on its own took way too long, and I had 3 more squishies to do. I did not feel like putting in that much effort when it was my first time because I didn't really know where I was going with this other than I wanted a rainbow cloud. But now after 2 coats, you can see there's just a couple little issues, but I didn't really care too much about those. Still got a nice squish level, maybe a little bit too nice, but now it's time to work on this back side of it. And for the back, I'm going to be doing that same color, but just sort of reverse. So it's going to go from the purple to the pink. I'm lining up the lines with where they end on the front side so that it looks like they're sort of like wrapped bands going around. I did just really thick layers on these because I had done it before. I did 2, but I only showed 1 on camera because it was just taking way too long. But just doing a few little touch-ups on both sides of the squishy to make it nice, even, make sure all the texture was out of it, make sure that there weren't random marks of other colors where main color was supposed to be, and just getting it ready. But just remember, this is only the background. Once I have both sides of the squishy done, it was time to finally figure out what I wanted to do with it. I don't know why, but I figured I just wanted a nice little face on it. So I ended up doing a face, and then on the back, I never really knew what I was going to do. I just took a pencil out to doodle on the face I was drawing because it was light enough that I could see it and it could come off easily. This gray I do use for another project, so that's how I had it all pre-made. But I just did a little sleeping face, added some eyelashes for her to make it a little bit more feminine. Originally I drew like a smile at the bottom. It was just sort of like a sleeping smile, meditative. But I did end up just leaving her mouth wide open. I don't know why. I thought that was a lot cuter. It just makes it look like she's snoring, and it's a cloud, sort of like clouds and the moon. I don't know why I feel like clouds are only ever part of like the moon, stuff like that. But on the back, I wanted to do something, and I don't know why, but my brain decided it needed a little bit of a farting butt, because it's a cloud. So like gas cloud maybe? I don't really know. I'm using the same gray. I just did like a nice little butt crack, and then just a little like fart cloud. I really don't know why. I'm almost 20 years old and I'm just making farting rainbow clouds in my free time. So here she is, all nice and painted. I am taking just a safety pin, stabbing in and out real quick to get some of that air out, because as you can see, it didn't really want to squish down. These go away pretty much instantly, and they make it so that the squishy actually squishes and isn't just a balloon. This was very satisfying. I could have spent the entire video just stabbing the squishies, but it was really fun to paint them. And now that she's all done, we can finally admire her. I do like this one. This was the one that I didn't think I was going to like in the beginning, but I almost love how simple it is. It's very clear design, very just bright colors. It looks like it's supposed to be a cloud, like the pastels, the little like resting, peaceful face. And I don't know, I just really like this one. It was really satisfying to stab all the air out of it, but now that it's out, it does still have a nice squish, which is so nice. So after that one, I decided to take this little donut bear squishy. And I don't really like donuts, but I thought this was really cute and like really nice shape. But you know what I do like that has a circle is bagels. So I'm going to be turning this into a bagel. I'm using just a little bit of white paint, some orange, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of brown, mixing that up for a nice like beigeish color, almost like my skin tone. But, I'm only using the matte paints for this just because I don't need structure anymore. And I'm making another one with just a little bit less white than I used in the first, just to get the toastedness. And while those are mixing, first layer is clearly going to be the light one, and we'll add details later. I don't know why, but this paint was my favorite. It almost reminded me of concealer. It was just nice, like full coverage, like clearly not full. I had to do 2 coats, but I only had to do 2 coats, and it looked almost full from the first coat. It was just so satisfying to use, and I don't know, it was just really nice. The deeper brown was a little bit harder to use, but I did end up being able to use it and making it look decent, especially since I had never worked with squishies before. Now that that first side is done, we are going to be doing the back side, which is the same process. Again, just lathering up. This side was a lot more textured. These squishies were really cheap. I got like 50 of them for $10 or something, but they were good to like practice on and remake into something new. Now that I have this base layer on, I'm going to make it look like it is a toasted bagel. I did go a little bit too far with it, but I'm just going to do a nice thick layer, like a circle in the middle, and I'm just going to end up blending that out with a sponge brush, just sort of like punching it onto the squishy. I think that that would have been perfectly fine, but for some reason I decided to add another layer, and at this point it was way too dark for me. It didn't look like a bagel anymore, so I ended up doing the other side, and the other side I learned from my mistakes, only did 1 coat of. and it looked a lot better. So I'm going to use that first one as the layer with all of the toppings because this side was much better for a toasted look. So now that that is all dried, you can see all my little mistakes on that first side. Second side's looking much, much better, much more cohesive. So now it's time to add the everything bagel seasoning. So for this, I'm just going to use some straight black at first to get those poppy seeds. I am just using like a bamboo skewer, but I'm realizing that those look like the side of normal poppy seeds, so it's very cluttered. They're very big. I could have used a safety pin, just done a couple tiny ones. I'm also using just pure brown to get some of those other everything bagel qualities, like the little sesame seeds, the little onions. If it was a bigger squishy, I probably would have drawn out a few of the things, but I think that just using the dots was a nice touch to give it a little more flair than just a plain bagel. Here's where I messed up again. I decided, making really tiny ones, I can use the sponge brush, which just blended it out and made it look sort of burnt. For my first time, I am very proud of it, and I do love bagels, but I have a few more donut squishies, so I think I'm going to try and redo them. But here she is, all done. I think that it is really cute. I do love that it's clearly a bagel now and clearly not a donut. I wish I had added some form of cream cheese or butter or some like filling. You know, you open the bagel, you put on your cream cheese and your butter, and that's how you eat it. But I still think that I love it. This one gave me a lot more ideas to do in the future since it's so easy to find donut squishies, so I'm sure I can find more and do multiple of these. This last one that I'm going to be showing is the soda can one. I don't really drink a whole lot of soda. I'll have it every once in a while, but what I do drink way too much of is another can. So I'm just going to be doing a nice silver. I'm doing a little bit of black, a little bit of gray, and using this gold metallic. I know I need silver metallic, but just using a little bit of it gave that extra shimmer. I need a lot more white because it's supposed to be nice, bright gray, not really a dark silver. So just covering the whole can, making it clearly a can still. Did not go too out of the box with this one. Again, this gray was very similar to the beige. It was a nice pigmented color, only needed a few different layers on it. Again, this one was very textured, and for a can, I didn't want it to be too textured, so I was trying to do thick layers while also not getting weird streaky lines in it, which I ended up doing my best for the most part. The top ends also needed to be done. The end that I used puffy paint to make straight was clearly a lot stiffer than the other end, but it was still good to work with, and it was better than having a super messed up end. Once the squishy is all done, clearly I'm keeping in a can, but it's no longer going to be soda, so I'm turning this one into is a Red Bull can. I have a Red Bull addiction. I probably have 14 in my room right now. So again, I'm just going to be using the pencil. I'm just doing the basic outline of the Red Bull. I'm not going to be writing all the nutrition facts, all the words, all that. So we're really just doing the logo on the front, and that's pretty much it, just with the word Red Bull. This one definitely took the longest, but I love Red Bull, so it was worth it. I'm using just plain blue and a little bit of that metallic just because it needs more of a can feel than a primary color feel. So that little bit of metallic makes it all much better. And this color, again, look, it was very, very thin. So it was a lot of layers, and of course this was the super detailed one that I needed to be careful with. So I ended up doing probably, I think I did 2 or 3 layers on the camera and at least 4 or 5 other ones off camera. Once I had the base down after the first 2 layers, I could sort of just glob it on there where I needed it. A lot of these little mistakes that you guys are seeing where there's smudges or it's in a spot it's not supposed to be, I just fixed it at the end with the silver because the silver was a lot easier to use, a lot deeper, thicker, clearer, so I wouldn't need to do 9 different layers just to fix a little tiny mistake. And once I have that nice clear base, it was time to actually make the Red Bull logo. I'm literally just writing Red Bull and doing that little design with the 2 bowls and the sun in the middle. I think it's a sun. So again, We don't want primary school feel, but it's just red and yellow with a little bit of that metallic gold mixed into it. Just mixing this on a tray that I've used for other projects. I'm going to start by writing Red Bull on it to sort of give me a nice middle ground. This took a long time, and I already don't have the best handwriting. I don't despise it, but I know it could be a lot prettier, so doing it on a 3D surface was not ideal for me. But considering I never have done it on a 3D surface, I think it looked very nice, and I'm also using a pointy pen type thing on a squishy that would move anytime I put too much pressure on it. So you do gotta cut me a little bit of slack, even though I don't think it looks too bad. So after I finished writing the word Red Bull, I started with that little sun in the middle. I figured I could let this part dry, and once the sun was dry, I could work on the Red Bulls on top of it, rather than trying to paint a sun after I'd done the 2 bowls, because those are going to take a long time. So now that I'm here, the squishy is probably 3 inches, and a regular Red Bull can is clearly like at least 6 inches or so. So I'm trying to do just the outline of the Red Bulls. I had it on the side of the screen because I needed to keep looking at it really like closely to try and get it right. I did end up doing both bowls on the sides of the cans, but I know I could have done better. Again, it is just the outline of them because I didn't want to add all those little teeny tiny details of the little specks of gold shifting through. I didn't want to write energy drink at the bottom because it's very clear what Red Bull is. I was trying to fix things I had messed up without messing up more. And here I am just going over, now that I'd finished the base, with the silver metallic paint, just to give a nice clear fixing of all the smudges, anything like that. Now that it looks done, there's one more part to add for every can. You just need a way to open it. So the Red Bull cans themselves have the little intricate design. I am using the paint that I used in the beginning of the video to do thickness, the one with the puffy paint, so it was a little bit thick to use, but I'd rather do this than waste more white paint. The Red Bull can has a little Red Bull logo in the tab part. I had already put probably 10 hours into this squishy and did not feel like working on making another one of those Red Bulls, so I just did a normal soda tab. Maybe if I had a bigger one, I would have been able to do it, but overall, I think that this one was probably my favorite. I think it's because I love Red Bull. It's got such a nice squish level. It's like the perfect size. It can just fit anywhere in your hand. You can put it in a bag. I am very scared that it will chip off, but I'm just trying to have faith that it won't break. I don't know where it is at this exact moment. I was looking for it for thumbnail earlier, but I do love it, and I know it's somewhere. Here is the one that I was going to do, but didn't, just because I didn't really like the design. I didn't think it was that good. But if you guys want to see it, I do have all the footage. So thank you guys for watching this video. I know it was a little bit different from what I normally do. If you liked it, please give me a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you want to see more from me and all my friends. All of my other social medias are linked in the description below. And yeah, that's all I have this week. I'm trying to post more regularly, so I will see you guys next time. Bye!